What's up, guys? It's your boy Thriller here. We're back with week two of the JJDL. We are taking on Lamau, I believe in a San Antonio Espers, I think. Not gonna really do the team builders or anything like that, especially with some of the other battles I got going on. It's just that work's been getting really exhausted. And I also did this battle in my week three battle in call with friends and so I ended up recording it. And for anyone wondering, so if I do video games with call with friends, I am muted and I am deafened, so they don't tell me what to do. They don't give me advice, stuff like that. So just get that out of the way. We're taking Lamal though. He pretty much brought everything except that he did bring Zygarde, which I thought was like a 50-50 bring versus my team. He actually brought Talonflame, which I was a little surprised to see here. He also brought Lycanroc, which I don't remember if I was expecting or not, but it made sense versus me. I had a pretty bad matchup into Lycanroc in general, so Thundurus came, which I think pretty much was a guaranteed always bring come versus me. He brought only one of his Z captains in Thundurus. He brought Gastro like I expected as well. Gastro's a pretty good monitor in my team overall, so there was that. Um, so overall, a pretty interesting matchup here. But let's go ahead and get into it. So I believe I lead off with my Diggersby, as my Diggersby is the freest lead here. And what do I think here? So in comes the Thunderous. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, I low key kind of want to switch out, but at the same time, I really can't switch out here because, like, I have nothing that comes in on an electric type attack. So I really need to get. Oh, it's Alolan Ninetales and Muck is what I was mostly shocked by. And no Florges. Like, no Florges was insane. Florges into my team was, like, really scary and I could not believe the fact that there was none. Noah Lloyd Muck somewhat makes sense versus me, but I was a little surprised. But Noah Lloyd Ninetales was insane though. Like Lloyd Ninetales was so good into my team, like it was ridiculous. Like I'm so shocked that two of those two fairies did show up at all. So that kind of messed up the game plan a little bit in terms of what I wanted to do. But I have Scarf Diggersby here, which is enough speed to outspeed his entire team. Um, So I figured, in this return that I'm going to go for, it's going to be a roll to knock him out here. So I'm going to go for the return. He actually reveals to be Choice Scarfed, which I'm a little surprised to see Scarf. It does make some sense though, just making sure you're faster than Scarf one plus one on men's. You're making sure you're faster than Scarf Victini. But I still think Scarf's a little bit of a bad bring here because then if your choice Scarfed, like things like Diggersby come in on the electric type move and set up for agility or something like that for free. I can come in with something and just get a free D dance off or trick room or whatever you may be. Like I honestly feel like that's just a weird play, in my opinion, to have a scarf. But again, like I said, I do see the reason why he felt scarf was more important this matchup. Him landing that focus blast though, really sucks because that pretty much was probably GG at that point, but there was still no if or whats. I go into my Salamence here as a Dragon Dance here. Now this is where we get interesting because again, I outspeed the majority of his team here, so there's no reason not to predict this. So I'm gonna go ahead and click this. He actually reveals to be Gale Wings, which I'm actually very surprised to see. But at the same time, it's again the same thing with the scarf. I see why he brought Gale Wings. Gale Wings primarily there to stop a potential unburdened Halucha if it starts getting out of control. And he keeps it back, which arguably makes me wonder. Excuse me. Arguably wonder why he went to this and just didn't go Gastrodon. Like Gastrodon's kind of not needed versus my team, but at the same time it kind of is. So I kind of don't understand why he went Gastro. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think Gastro was a better play over Talonflame in my opinion, because now you just sacked your Talonflame for no real reason here. But I go for the Dragon Claw. Hopefully no burn, but like I said, if it's what I think it is, then there was no burn. In comes Lycanroc. I have nothing to stop this thing. If I was Charty Berry, it would have been one thing, which I almost was considering being Charty Berry for this matchup. But unfortunately, it didn't work the way I wanted it to. So Here comes my Holucha. I'm just gonna set up a sword stance here. No reason not to, and as I know he can switch out here. I'm actually going to make the play in sword stance here again, as he is going to go for the attack, which I'm very grateful that he did go for that, because that means my red card activates. I now have my +4. I'm going for acrobatics, and surprisingly enough, he gives me Zygarde here. Realistically speaking, I figured he should have sacked off the Gastro, maybe sacked off or try to gone into something to resist it. But I don't know why he kind of just fully sacked that off. It was moves. But in comes this Scizor. If it's defensive, this Scizor will pretty much always revenges me here, which it proves that it's actually more of an offensive Scizor here. And we go over acro, and I believe that acrobatics actually was legit a roll. Um, I don't know if it was a roll in my. I think it was like a 50% roll because he was more of an offensive Scizor than he was a defensive Scizor. That might have still been max HP, but again, like I said, I'm +4, so it was most likely a damage. I think it was like a damage roll between 94 to like 103, 104. So it was pretty much a 50-50 roll. We unfortunately did not get the 50-50 roll, and if we probably got the 50-50 roll, it would not have mattered because I mean it would not matter based on the fact that this would have been dead. It would suck because pretty much this thing comes in, this will come in, and then it comes down to how we want to play things out from there. But now I go into my Victini here. I decide to click Flame Charge. Now, in hindsight, I should have always clicked Flame. I should have always been able to click the one button in this one. I should have always clicked potentially Energy Bolt, but I should have really paid. Like, I really should have looked at the calcs because if I would have done the calcs there, I also am a little surprised that he did save this. I don't really think there was a reason to ever save this. Really, when I have two resistance to Bullet Punch on my team, so I don't really know. But we get a Flame Charge off, and this actually proves to be specially defensive Gastrodon based off this Rindo Berry damage here. And we are unfortunately not going to pick up the KO on Gary here, unless we got a super max roll, I think it was, but it was not really going to be able to. But now we go into Absol. I just click knockoff here. I really, really, really wish I had Sucker Punch here because what I would have done here in this situation with Sucker Punch, because I didn't think I really needed it. I was going to SD up, SD up. I get to sucker this. I can sucker this because I'm faster. Because again, with my speed bracket, my sucker punch would go faster over theirs. So I pretty much had this game. I would have had this game pretty much wrapped up actually with Absol, but I didn't think I needed sucker punch this week. I had Iron Tail for Florges. I think it was either Ice Beam or Play Rough. I think it was potentially. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I didn't have it, and probably looking back in terms of the prep, I should have packed Sucker Punch because I would have at least forced him to think that out. Because even if he got a chip damage off on me, if I SD up here, it forces him to then have to play a different way. Because then I go for knockoff, kill the Gastro on the next following turn. Then he goes this, and I click Sucker Punch to knock that out. He goes Lycan Rock, I Sucker Punch, and that becomes like a 50-50 roll if I knock him out or not. Scizor dies. It's like I think I pretty much would have had the game won if I had Sucker Punch. I think at least. I don't know at the end of the day if like there would have been a roll with Sucker Punch on this or this potentially at +2. But I feel like I would have had the game won there. But he actually prevails to go for Thunderbolt here. And you're gonna actually see that that actually was a smart play that he clicked Thunderbolt. At first, I thought that was a bad play because it didn't make any sense. But now that I looked at the calcs, Thunderbolt guarantee O code me. There was only like one roll where it never did, but I would have lived on 1 HP. So Thunderous ended up kicking our butt here. That focus blast pretty much mostly cost us the game. Because of the fact that he landed that and he was willing to risk it. Like, I genuinely think it wasn't worth the risk. Like, I feel like if you know when to click the normal type move, you should have just gone into either your normal type, you went into your rock type, your steel type, even your Gastrodon to an extent. If you're, well, I guess if you're especially defensive, you don't want to really go into your physically defensive mon or something like that. But I don't know. I personally think in that turn one, I would never have risked Focus Blast, and more importantly, I would never have risked showing that I'm Scarfed. I like I said, Scarf was a fine brain to me. I think I still question a little bit why he brought Scarf, but again, Scarf made sense. I think that turn one should have been thought out a little more differently because if he misses that and I get this KO on this guy, he lost all of his speed control for Absol at that point, besides Talonflame. And he just lost one of his best ways to handle like Halucha at that point. So it's like I think you can't really afford to take a risk like that in the first one. And plus, I think it's better for you just to assume I'm scarfed. So that way you can just kind of play around the fact that either I'm going to click this move or that move type of thing. Now, arguably, could I have also maybe switched out on turn one, went into my Araquanid? Yeah, but do I really want to be that much of a baller to make that much of a ballsy ass play? Not really. I don't think I'm in that position to do so. Excuse me. But overall, it was still a good game. Lamau played really well. Again, a little surprised to see some of the stuff, but again, it did make sense in terms of the battle from a reflection. So we start off the season 1-1 with a -1, which is okay, not too crazy. Next week we have a pretty fun game coming up, and hopefully to pick up a win man there. We actually got some cool stuff planned for next week in terms of the teams. So I'm really excited for you guys to see that. Do again apologize for no team builder this week. Just again, work's been busy, and I just play these games in calls, so there's no real point to go over everything I had. But I'm glad the red card prep though with Halucha paid off. Like I'm really glad that red card worked exactly the way I wanted it to. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and with that, I will see you all in the next battle. Until next time, guys. Peace.